Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome here to London as we take a look across here at Lee Valley VeloPark, the home, of course, of the London 2012 Olympic Games. Day 3 of the UCI World Track Cycling Championships. I think we're going to see another thrilling day of racing. Well, this is what we're looking forward to. Some fantastic action so far on the track. This is the medal standings after 9 events, including the women's 500-metre time trial from earlier. Australia lead the medal table ahead of Germany. And then New Zealand up on the board with 1 gold. Hong Kong, China now have a silver. We'll show you highlights of how that was won later on. Looking through the rest of the medal standing, Switzerland still with that medal of Claudia Imhoff. And this is what we are looking forward to this evening. We're going to bring you a women's team pursuit, a final which has really started to shake up women's team pursuits. We're going to bring you the men's Omnium, the next phases of that, and the men's point race final, as well as the men's individual pursuits. The riders getting ready then for tonight's racing. These are the shots of the Great Britain women's team pursuit squad warming up just under the track. And these are the Australian athletes who are making their way onto the track. The New Zealanders. The women's team pursuit has thrown up all sorts of questions over the last few hours, and the New Zealanders will be riding for the bronze medal. The Australians getting ready for action. Here is the track data. The humidity has dropped, it's 23%. The temperature 1 degree up from yesterday, 26 degrees centigrade. A capacity crowd tonight, 6,000 people in this arena. Here's our commissaires panel. They make sure that fair play happens on the track and they make the tough decisions. Of course, we've seen a few of those so far. Massive crowd in this arena. Last night, was it the loudest night we've ever had in this London Velodrome? It was absolutely incredible. And I think tonight we're going to see, again, some great racing that should get this crowd on its feet. First up then, the women's team pursuit finals. Here's what we are going to see. Places 7 to 8 will be fought out between China and Poland. The big surprise of the day is Australia will ride for the 5th place against Italy. Great Britain have managed to get themselves, after yesterday's catastrophe, into the bronze medal ride-off against New Zealand. And the United States are the massive surprise of these championships. They go for gold against Canada. The Chinese team then making their way onto the track. So just to update you, earlier on today there was the next round of this team pursuit, and the big losers were Australia, who still rode a very, very good contest, but it means that they have dropped out of the medal places. The world champions, the world record holders, with no medal in this contest. And all the talk over the last 24 hours, to be absolutely fair, has been about Great Britain falling apart yesterday in their ride, but somehow they've managed to retrieve things. They rode a very composed round, and they now go for bronze. China then, this is the team. It is Dongyang Wang, Menglu Ma, Ali Jing and Baofeng Chao. And we're going to have some on-board cameras in this team pursuit. 28 seconds until we get the race underway. On the other side of the track, the Polish team with Katarzyna Pawlowska, teammate of Lizzie Armitstead on the Bowls Dolmans team. Also in this squad, Jasinska, Kaskowska and Pikulik. Here we go. Underway in the women's team pursuit. It's China against Poland. And the Chinese team leading off. We've got a camera on the bike of one of the riders. So it's Wang who leads off for China now. And the Polish team, oh, look at this, on board with the Polish team. As you can see just how fast they're going, the little bit of shake, the little bit of rattle, but very, very fast, this Polish team. And the Chinese team, there's the concentration. The look on the face as they suck in the oxygen. That's the camera on rider leading the team through there as we head towards the 750-metre point. This decides then the places for 7th and 8th, always important for the qualification for Rio 2016. And it's going to be the Chinese team who go through in 1:11.228 as they race through the first phase of this team pursuit. The big surprise, without a doubt, was earlier on today when the Australian team were racing against the American squad, and the American team so far in this team pursuit have surprised everybody. They've promised so much over the last few years, but somehow now they are at the top of the game in terms of world cycling and the team pursuit. On board then with the Chinese squad as the tempo continues to pick up. Heading now towards the 2,000-metre point. This will give us a good indication of which team is riding strongest. And still the Chinese team lead by 1.348 seconds. Both these teams then riding the double disc wheels, the carbon fibre wheels that help them slice through the air with the aerodynamic advantage. And the Chinese team, a lovely aerodynamic style, as you can see. Really low frontal area. China, though, we've seen them improving all the time. And this Polish team with Pawlowska in it, you can see a very different style as far as the handlebars are concerned. Slightly higher position for this rider, and position number 2 on the track. The riders sharing the pacemaking. They tend to do normally anything between half a lap and 1.5 laps turn on the front, depending on how fast they are feeling at any particular time. We're through the 2,000 metres, now through the 3,000, and China are still there with all 4 riders intact. Poland are down to 3. different helmets being worn by this Chinese squad. The Polish team a lot more slick in terms of the look and the feel of the squad. Can they now find a little bit more? The Chinese still with 4 riders intact as they continue, but Poland have got Pawlowska, who's a real workhorse for this team as they stretch things out a little bit more. 500 meters to go, and this Polish team now are starting to really rocket around this track. This Chinese team, a little bit of head movement going on. Maybe one of the riders should have peeled off that squad. They might be riding with 4, but the Polish team are looking much, much faster on this track now. So they've ridden to schedule. They're going to come back, and the Polish team look to me like they could be about to take this 7th place now. They really are sprinting for the finish line. On the line, it is Poland who take it. 4:27, 1:65 to 4:27, 5:08. That was very well ridden indeed by the Polish squad. They rode a very consistent race there. Pawlowska goes rider number 2 in this team. She's got so much control and effort. She's a rider that Lizzie Armistead relies on the road in the Boels-Dolmans team. As these 3 riders, look at them go. Just see them powering their way for the finish line, and they will take 7th place in the women's team pursuit. Onto the track for the Australian team, the defending champions. Just seemed like they had one of those afternoons in the next round of the team pursuit. I think we might see them totally rectify that with a very fast ride this evening. So they make their way onto the track. This is for the 5th and 6th places. After yesterday, we weren't expecting them to be anywhere near the 5th and 6th places. They looked so quick on the track. It looked to me like they were riding a very controlled ride, but earlier on, when the Americans turned the pressure on, they ended up riding a 4:18.559, which in consideration to what is the world record, 4:13.683 in Saint-Quentin and Yvelines last year on the 19th of February. The Australians just had one of those days. It's interesting, there's so much pressure on these riders. Here's the team: Georgia Baker, Amy Cure, Ashley Akudinov, Rebecca Wysack, the world champion, comes into the team. They leave out Annette Edmondson. And this is Italy: Beatrice Bartoloni, Francesca Pataro, Tatiana Gudezzo, Silvia Valsecchi. You have to admit, Nettie Edmondson is, of course, a double world champion, and she had that crash with a car a few days ago, so maybe we'll see how the team performs with Rebecca Wysack in here, and Nettie can have a little bit of a rest. Underway then for the Australian team. This is for 5th and 6th place, but I don't think it's going to be all about that. I wonder whether the Australians will go out and they will ride a very fast pace here to just give a signal to the rest of the world that don't dismiss us at all. We might have ridden a 4:18 this afternoon, but look at what we've done already in this round of team pursuits, and worry about us, because we're going to go away and we're going to ride a very, very fast time in Rio. And automatically the Australians have gone absolutely flat out. They are absolutely flying around this track. they may well just be in the position where they're already in the slipstream of this Italian squad with less than a kilometre gone. Here we are on board with the Australian team. Lovely style there. Ashley Akudanov right in the camera. And here we are again with the Australian team. Rebecca Wysack has come in, of course, the world champion of the individual pursuit. She's already taken back-to-back titles, so she can slot in to this Australian team. But already they are closing in on the Italian squad, so we may not even see them ride for a time unless they decide that that is exactly what they want to do. A little bit of a dodgy change there by the Australians, leaving a big gap, but they've managed to close it up as they continue around this track. The Australians opened up with a 1:7.914 opening kilometre. You can see the nails painted of the Australian team. They pretty much all got the Australian flag as they go through the 2,000-metre point in 2:10.755. Just to give you a translation, in terms of the Chinese team earlier on, they rode a 2:15 for 2,000 metres. This is a 2:10. That's how fast the Australians are going right now. This is very, very fast indeed by the Australian riders. I think they're going to close up very fast. They're about a second and a half outside the American time earlier on this afternoon, which was very close to the world record. Australia then, you can see, I've got the Italians in their sight. This race is going to be over any moment now. And the big question then is, will they go for a time, or will they just close it off and say, thanks very much, that's us finished in the 5th place. We've shown how strong we are. We've come back. They're losing a rider now at the back of the quartet. So they're going to be down to 3 riders. They're down to 3 now. And the Italians are also down to 3. The tempo really starting to pick up as the Australians continue around at this track. Very impressive through the 3,000-metre point in 3:14.379. Are they going to go for a time? That's the question. No, the gun has gone. It's all over. The Australians will finish in 5th place in the women's team pursuit. The start then of this talented Australian squad as they power their way out of the blocks. They had a point to prove and they've proven it. Amy Cure on the back of the group there. The world champion, of course, in her own right. Thumbs up from the Aussies. That was better. Now we get into the medal ride-offs. Heading up onto the track, the Great Britain squad. The Great Britain team, Ciara Horn. Next to her is Eleanor Barker, Laura Trott, who won the world title in the scratch race, and Joanna Rasul Shand. the New Zealand squad. Here's the team then: Laura Trott, Kira Horn, Eleanor Barker, Joanna Rousel-Shand. And here are the New Zealanders: Lauren Ellis, Rushley Buchanan, Jamie Nielsen and Raquel Shield. The Great Britain team, so long, were unbeaten in the women's team pursuit, both on the 3,000 metre discipline and the 4,000 metre discipline. Last year, the Australians absolutely shattered the world record when they set a 4:13.683. Great Britain had all sorts of problems yesterday, but today they look very much back on their game. In the previous round, they rode a national record of 4:16.350. The New Zealand squad, all in black here, have been looking good so far, and they're up here to try and win the bronze medal. Lauren Ellis, Rushley Buchanan, Jamie Nielsen, Raquel Sheath trying to beat the previously unbeatable Great Britain team. As they go through, it's .683. The crowd in here are going pretty wild already. They can sense the possibility of another medal, and when that happens, you can't hear anything in this arena, and right now you can't hear a thing. Great Britain go through the 1,000 metres in a steady 1:87.39. New Zealand 1:95.75. The New Zealand team looking good, looking very composed right now. They know that they've got a crowd that is going to be on the side of the Great Britain team, so they've just got to keep their composure, keep riding, and hope that some error is made by the Britain team as they try and ramp up their efforts. The New Zealand squad, of course, benefiting from their indoor velodrome, which the World Cup was held in Cambridge, in New Zealand. And they look so good in the stealth-like black. The Great Britain team now heading towards the next phase of this race. As they go through the 2,000 metre point, it's 2:10.707. So pretty much on par with the Australian time of earlier. Now the problem for Great Britain came yesterday when they ramped up the effort in the final 2,000 metres. Kira Horn was unable to go with the acceleration, but I talked to her about that this morning. She said, we went off the start at world record pace, and I didn't think we were going to go right that fast off the start, and it took me a while to get onto the back of the string, and then therefore when it ramped up, my legs were already hurting from that pace. So now they've composed it a little bit. Maybe the team isn't ready to ride that sort of tempo. Great Britain still ahead, 2.5 seconds. They can see the New Zealanders in front of them now, as Joanna Rousel-Shand gives it a really big turn that time to try and pull them closer to the colours of New Zealand. That big turn puts Joanna Rousel-Shand into a little bit of difficulty at the back of the group as they go through the 3,000 metres in 3:13.516. So they are starting to motor now. Great Britain looking for this bronze medal. It looks to me like they have the measure of the New Zealand team. Do New Zealand have anything to find in here in this final 1,000 metres? The Great Britain team's fastest time ever is a 4:16.350. That's the time they are looking for now to give a message out to the United States of America and to, of course, Australia, who we would have expected to be here in the medals. One lap of racing to go. This could be the fastest time that Great Britain have ever ridden. It's going to be very, very close. They are motoring for the finish line. Their fastest time ever was a 4:16.350. They're going to hit the line now, and it's 4:16.540, just outside the fastest time they've ever ridden. But they take the bronze medal in 56.131 kilometers an hour. That, to me, is the 5th fastest time in history of a women's team pursuit squad. That was a pretty exciting run into the finish. The New Zealanders will finish in 4th place. Again, we're seeing the New Zealand team getting better and better all the time. Their time then, 4:20.225, 55.336 kilometers an hour. Well, what looked like it was all going wrong has now come back together for that Great Britain team. All 4 of them still together. All smiles from Eleanor Barker, who tweeted last night after they took an awful lot of stick. And she basically said, we're going to come back and fight and we will get the bronze medal. And that's what they've done. That shows the strength of character of these athletes. All smiles from Kira Horn. There's Joanna Rousel-Shand, who of course won her Olympic gold medal here in London. Laura Trott behind them. And Kira Horn this morning said to me, we're going to go out and we're going to fight for the bronze. That's what they've ended up with. Eleanor Barker, who's kind of the bubbly member of this team, keeps everyone going with Laura Trott. Laura's already disappeared. This is the big one. This is the race then for the gold medal. World team pursuiting at women's level has suddenly changed guard. And these are the 2 teams who have done it. The United States of America and the Canadian team are up on the track. Here's the United States team. Sarah Hammer with the youngster Chloe Dygart, Catlin and Jennifer Valente. There's the Canadian team, Alison Beveridge, Kirsty Lay, Yasmin Glazer and Georgia Simmerling. Who is going to take this gold? The Americans have come out here and they have shocked the world. They set a 4:14.806 in the last round. Underway then for both these teams. The American squad of Hammer, Catlin, Dygart and Valente against the Canadians, Beveridge, Glazer, Lay and Simmerling. The United States of America set the 2nd fastest time ever in a women's team pursuit, 4,000 meters earlier on today, 4:14.806. And put it in perspective, Chloe Dygart, who is the junior world champion of the time trial and the road race, this is her 2nd ever track competition, and she's here in a team who are going for gold. The Canadian squad have looked very, very good. Earlier on in the rounds, they set a 4:18.261 to beat the New Zealand squad by just 0.003 of a second. And can the United States hold this together the way they have done so far? I was talking to their coaches yesterday, Neil Henderson, and also to Andy, whose birthday it was. He got a great birthday present, and they said they've been working for this. They've been trying so hard to get the team on form, not sick, and going for gold. And they said for the first time, this team are well, they're healthy, and they're riding strongly. But the Canadian team will not give up without a fight. They are, of course, previous medalists in terms of world level team pursuiting. They were the bronze medalists last year. The silver medalists in 2014. The Canadians, so they will not go down without a massive fight here against the American squad, and I think we'll see the Canadian team just try and hold the Americans, try and make them crack a little bit, because the Canadians, in terms of this level of team pursuiting after 3 rounds, have the expertise, they've got the knowledge, they know what it's like to have to dig deep at the last biting end of this race. So these teams fighting each other now for the gold through the 2,000-meter point, and still it is the Americans with an advantage of just under a second on the Canadian team. The Canadians still holding strong with 4 riders, but look at the strength of the Americans as they go through 2:41, 5:31. The face is on these American riders. Lots of discussions. Oh, they're down to 3 already, and that's a little bit early to go with 3 riders, but maybe that's the game plan. They did this earlier in qualification. Now the Canadians have strength in numbers, so if they can find a little bit more fight, then they could try and bring the American squad back. 3,000 meters in 3:12.783 for the Americans. This is a very, very fast ride by the American team. The American squad are just down on their previous best, but they're trying to go here to win the gold. They can almost see the Canadians in the same straight now, but the Canadian squad have still got the 4 riders intact, so they do have strength in numbers here. They finally lose a rider. We're down towards the final 500 meters, and the Canadians trying to hold on here as the Americans start to ramp this up. We have seen teams crack in the final 250 in these team pursuit contests. The Americans looking good with 1 lap of racing to go. It's not going to be their fastest time. Oh, they're cracking, and they're cracking in the back straight. The Canadians now are going for it. The Americans have gone a little bit ragged as they run it towards the finish line, but they've done enough. They hit the line. They are the world champions. The United States of America, 4:16.802. Andy looks a little bit worried. 4:16.802, and the United States of America are the world champions. Neil Henderson congratulates them. That is a job well done by the United States. That really is a thrilling round of racing by 4 fantastic bike riders. Sarah Hammer, so happy, very emotional, I think, underneath that helmet there. Chloe Dygert, what a ride from the young American, only, what is she, 18 years of age? Incredible. They've said that Chloe Dygert is a freak of nature. They've discovered her, and she has added the firepower that they needed to bring home the gold. Jennifer Valente then holds out the flag. Sarah Hammer alongside her, all smiles from this American team. Here they are underway then in this team pursuit, the concentration on the faces. It's been a good couple of weeks for American riders. We think about Evie Stevens breaking the world hour record. She trains with this team sometimes during the winter. But they just have so much power in that squad now. And just as they raced into the finish line, one rider just suffering a little bit. I think it was Chloe maybe who was just dropping off, but you have to say, what a rider she is. They're getting the flag the right way round. Sarah Hammer's making sure they do it right. The world champions of the team pursuit are the United States of America, and the card suddenly changes as far as women's team pursuiting is concerned. What a few months for Chloe Dygard. She won in Richmond the World Junior Championship. All smiles then from a very talented American squad. Let's look back then at the women's 500-meter time trial highlights that took place earlier on. Well, bike riders in women's cycling are made of pretty tough stuff. Look at this crash of yesterday. Anastasia Voinova and Wai Chu Lee, two riders hitting the deck very, very hard. But in the women's 500-meter time trial, these two riders were back up on the track. Wai Chu Lee, the world champion in 2013, where she beat Miriam Velter and Becky James, going out second rider to go in this 500-meter time trial. 15 riders taking to the start, and Wai Chu Lee looking very, very strong all the way through. She knows how to ride this discipline incredibly well. And as she raced into the finish line, Wai Chu Lee stopped the clock in 33.736. Top of the leaderboard for Wai Chu Lee. She's a big star in Hong Kong. You see her picture everywhere. Lots of advertising. They really love her there. And the time then she set 33.736, an average speed of 53.355 kilometers an hour from a standing start. And so after starting second, if we think back to yesterday, Theo Boss had to sit all the way through the men's kilo, and so Wai Chu Lee had to sit in the middle, spinning on the rollers, while rider after rider started. The final rider to go, a mirror image, of course, of yesterday's kilometre time trial, was the rider who Wai Chu Lee was involved in the crash in the Kirin yesterday, was the world record holder, the Russian Anastasia Voinova, who went bursting out of the blocks to try and set the fastest time. The time to beat, 33.736. Voinova was over half a second faster after the 250, and she didn't relent at all as she raced into the conclusion of this 500-meter time trial. And Voinova, the only rider under 33 seconds, winning by 0.777. What a difference a day makes. All smiles for second place rider Sarah Lee, but the gold medal went to the Russian Anastasia Voinova. Her world record intact, but not by much. Can see the battle scars of yesterday on the chin of Anastasia Voinova, but she is made of tough stuff. The results then of the women's 500-meter time trial. Voinova wins in 32.959. The top three, Sarah Lee and Ellis Litley, all smiles on the podium. Next up on the track, we turn our attention to the second of our finals, the men's individual pursuit, and this is what we're about to see. The bronze medal ride-off, an all-British affair between Owen Doull and Andy Tennant, and the gold medal between the Italian Filippo Ganna and the German Dominic Weinstein. All concentration from Owen Doull. And his teammate in the team pursuit, Andy Tennant, getting himself ready for action. Owen Doull getting ready. Don't forget, you can tweet me today at @McCrossan if you would like to join me. Owen Doull goes out onto the track. Owen Doull from Cardiff in Wales. Getting himself ready. 30 seconds until we get underway. On the other side of the track, Andrew Tennant, the European individual pursuit champion. This should be an interesting tussle between these two riders. They train with each other pretty much every day. Underway for both these riders, and of course yesterday they were part of the men's team pursuit that took the silver medal. Saw Owen this morning in the lift in the hotel, congratulated him on his silver medal, and all he replied was, "I'm gutted, to be honest." 21.549. Owen Doull is a points jersey winner in the Tour of Britain. Under 23 national road race champion. Andrew Tennant, a very good pursuiter. He first came to prominence in the Junior World Championships in the individual pursuit. He's won the European Individual Pursuit Championships, so it will be an interesting ride between these two riders. Last year in the Tour of Britain, Owen Doull was led out a lot by Sir Bradley Wiggins. Both of them are members of this Team Wiggins squad that Bradley Wiggins has set up, and they know exactly how each of them rides. Owen Doull's the first rider to go out, 18350 to 18615 of Andy Tennant. You'll notice that both these riders with no socks on. It was the big norm that riders had long over socks, but they're not allowed now. So it looks like the research is showing that if you don't have socks on, then you go more aerodynamic as far as slicing through the air is concerned. As we head up now towards the 2,000-metre point shortly, that'll give us a good indication of how these riders are riding. 1:07.50, and Owen Doull is still the fastest. Tennant, to me, may well give this some throttle in the final 500 metres, maybe 1,000 metres. He's perhaps a more experienced individual pursuiter. Owen Doull more a team rider. And Tennant now starting to give it a little bit more heat. He's just starting to turn the pressure on Owen Doull for the bronze medal. Racing towards now the 2:02.50, the 3,000-metre point will be the key point in this race. Owen Doull starting to lean over to the right-hand side a little bit, showing maybe a little bit of pressure in those shoulders. And it's neck and neck as Tennant, though, goes ahead. Getting close to the 3,000-metre point. Andrew Tennant looking very composed and very strong. They are absolutely neck and neck. .247 between these two riders in this individual pursuit. Who's going to win it? Tennant to me looks the more composed. Dool is rocking and rolling a little bit more, but he's one of those fighters. Comes from the hard stop in Wales. Becky James, of course, comes from not far from Owen Dool. So does Geraint Thomas. Andy Tennant from Wolverhampton. And now Tennant is turning the pressure on. 0.5 of a second. Dool now looking like he is feeling it. So is Tennant. The grimace on both these riders' faces. They will, of course, got the team pursuit in their legs from yesterday. Dool 0.597 down. Tennant looks to me like he is going quicker. Owen Dool trying to find a little bit more, but Tennant's head now starts to go. In this final phase of this race, they're going to come up now to the bell, and it's going to be Tennant who is still 0.503 as they fight this one. Has Dool got any more stamina left in those legs? Tennant looks to me to be rocking and rolling all over the place. Who is going to take this one? Dool and Tennant going neck and neck. Who hits the line first? Oh, 0.175. And it is Andy Tennant who takes the bronze medal. What a ride between those two British riders. Tennant looks happy. That was a real tussle between Andrew Tennant and Owen Dool. Dool gives his teammate a round of applause. But an average speed for Andy Tennant of 55.748 kilometres an hour. He takes the bronze. Dool with 55.711. 0.175 of a second between those two riders. Hendrik Lemmer, thanks for your message. Why did Sir Brad not ride the individual pursuit? For him, it's all about the team pursuit and Rio 2016. That's all he's worried about. Look at the face on Andy Tennant. Andy Tennant making his way into the track centre, congratulated by the team. I think that hurt a lot. He's having to sit down before he does his TV interview. Cramping up. Owen Dool also grimacing. That was a big fight. That was for the bragging rights in the Great Britain team camp. Getting ready now for the gold medal ride-off. We'll get ready for this because this is going to be a great race, I think. The Italian rider. Getting ready, Filippo Ganna. And up against here, Dominic Weinstein of Germany. In qualification, these two riders rode a 4:16.127 for Ganna and a 4:16.206. If this goes to form, it's going to be incredible. Now Ganna, in the qualification round, rode the most steady opening kilometre you could ever expect to see. And then he just ramped it up. Rob Hales and I earlier on were looking at the timings, the analysis of the ride, and he just ramped it up over the second phase of the race. So don't expect to see this man from Italy anywhere near the lead until the second half of this race. He's 19 years of age, rides for Lampre Merida, fourth in the Junior World Championship individual time trial and third in the Junior European Championships. Dominic Weinstein, a 21-year-old, rides for the Radnet Rose professional team. But Ghana looks to me like maybe he's changed his tactics. A little bit less steady in the opening kilometre. Amazing, he's got the aerodynamic skin suit, all the trick bits that he needs, and yet the cross is hanging out of that skin suit, flapping in the wind all over the place. And through the opening kilometre, Ghana goes quicker, 1:9.117 than his qualifying round. Weinstein 1:8.971. Weinstein then keeping a really low frontal area. Look how much that head is tucked in. The 2,000 metre point will start to tell. Ghana 0.5 seconds down at this point in the ride. Very similar position on the front than Elia Viviani. Really high risers on those skis that he's got. Weinstein starting to rock and roll a little bit, having to push himself back in the saddle. Filippo Ganna now. The Italians have had a very, very good couple of days with their team pursuit squad riding stronger than they've ever done. And Ghana, of course, has been a team member of that squad. Dominic Weinstein then, through this 2,000 metres, 2:11.650. He's still ahead of the Italian, who's now 0.716 down. So the deficit is increasing all the time, but that's not what might be the end result of this ride, because Ghana, in his last performance, just suddenly put the tempo up. He's starting to accelerate now. You can see, watch the pedals, watch the cadence. The mouth is wide open. He's starting to pick it up a little bit more. He's looking across to see where Dominic Weinstein is. He goes 0.713, so that little acceleration has been responded to by the German rider. The German rider is refusing to let Ghana do what he did in the qualification. He's responded immediately. 0.713 last time. Now that has happened, it's increased to 0.760. Ghana, to me, looks like those shoulders are really starting to bend down. The pressure is on. Oh, suddenly, look at this. He is starting to go. 0.480. And Weinstein now needs to try and respond to this move of the Italian rider through the 3,000 metre point. 3.5. And look at this. Ghana's going to do it again. He started to accelerate. Filippo Ganna of Italy. He did this in qualification. He is delighting the crowd now. He is absolutely motoring. I liken him to Colin Sturgis years ago on the track in the individual pursuit. Exactly the same. Filippo Ganna, Forza. Here he goes now. Filippo Ganna of Italy is the world champion. 4:16.141. He takes over 2 seconds out of the German in the last kilometre. What a ride by the Italian. Absolutely stunning. A 4:16.141, which is just outside the time that he set in qualification. All bows. That's it. Give him a wave, because that was absolutely scintillating. What a stunning ride by the Italian. The last kilometre, he just rides it. It's just amazing how he rides the last kilometre of these individual pursuits. The only rider I've ever seen do this is Colin Sturgis, the British rider, over 5,000 metres. Ghana's last few laps were a 15.3, 15.3, 15.3. He got faster and faster over the final kilometre. He rode that last kilometre in about 1 minute, 1 second. Now, bear in mind, yesterday, the kilometre time trial was won in just about a minute. 4:16, 1:41. The silver medal goes to the German Dominik Weinstein, the 21-year-old. That's how to win an individual pursuit, isn't it? Davide Cassani congratulates Filippo Ganna, and the German, an emotional man in the centre of the track. Davide Cassani, of course, has taken over the Italian road and track programme. As we get ready now for the women's team pursuit victory ceremony. Of course, it was a fantastic performance by the American squad over the last couple of days. And here is the foundation of the team, Sarah Hammer.
Sarah, congratulations. We saw you very, very emotional on the track with the American flag. This is the first medal, first title for the USA tonight.
Yeah, I've been waiting my whole career to get the World Championship with a team. And, you know, for some of these girls, it's the start of their career and it's the winding down of mine. So what better place to do it? And it's the first medal ever for the United States in women's or men's team pursuit. So it's a very special night for us.
You're the most experienced riders from this group. How does it feel leading this bunch of girls to the gold medal?
This is a special group. You know, you don't do what we did tonight without a special group. We are a team in the whole sense of the word, and I think that showed in all three of our rides. So it's very, very special.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah Hammer then reflecting on the team over the last couple of days. She has been waiting her entire career for this. The victory ceremony of the women's team pursuit. Brian Cookson there on the left-hand side, the president of the Union Cycliste International.
Médaille de bronze, la Grande-Bretagne. Winners of the bronze medal, representing Great Britain, Laura Trott, Eleanor Barker,
Great Britain take the bronze medal. Kira Horn, Eleanor Barker, Laura Trott and Joanna Krauser-Schacht.
Médaille d'argent, le Canada. Winners of the silver medal, Canada.
The Canadian team take the silver medal. They were the bronze medalists last year, the silver medalists in 2014. They're consistent all the way through in getting on the podium. In fact, on the podium for the last 4 years. This makes it 5 years in a row. And the team of Canada getting their medals. Alison Beveridge, Jasmine Glazer, Kirsty Lay, Georgia Simmerling.
Champion du monde et vainqueur de la médaille d'or lors de la poursuite par équipe femme des championnats du monde Miss UCI
The United States of America, as Sarah Hammer said, their first world title in team pursuiting. And the team will pull on the rainbow bands, the squad of Sarah Hammer, Kelly Catlin, Chloe Dygert and Jennifer Valente. This squad have concerned all the other squads as we head towards Rio 2016. They weren't really the squad everyone was talking about. We were talking about the Canadians, the British and the Australians in more terms than any other team. The American team was a team that we had seen improving, but the added firepower of this talented young junior rider previously, only just coming out of the junior ranks. She's second from the right-hand side there. Chloe Dygert, she rides for the 2016 team in the United States of America. What an absolutely stunning performance in the last few months from her.
Applause will be presented by the Chief Executive Officer of UK Sport, Liz Nichols.
Laura Trott always smiling and joking on the podium. A world champion yesterday, a bronze medalist today. The Canadian team then receiving their flowers. Alison Beveridge, Jasmine Glazer, Kirsty Lay, Georgia Simmerling. Met Alison Beveridge's dad at breakfast this morning. He was very proud about what might happen this evening. For the world champions of the women's team pursuit, watch out for them in Rio. Sarah Hammer, Kelly Catlin, Chloe Dygert and Jennifer Valente. And now the national anthem of the United States of America. An emotional American team. Sarah Hammer in particular. It means an awful lot to a rider like her who's done so much in her career already. As she said, she's coming to the end of her career and these youngsters are coming to the beginning of a career ahead of them. Sarah Hammer, very emotional, but she knows how much it means to train so hard, and finally that world title is theirs. The men's Omnium then, we're going to turn our attention to that. Here are the highlights of round 1 and round 2 of the men's Omnium. The race got underway, of course, with the men's scratch race. And as we headed towards the final 2 laps, there was an attack from Zakharov of Kazakhstan and Thomas Boudad, a former world champion. These 2 riders going clear, a little bit of an advantage, opening up on the rest of the field. And with 1 lap to go, their advantage still intact. Thomas Boudat looking to try and win the Olympic Games. Boudat looking good. A little bit of a bump between Mark Cavendish and Gaviria. But Boudat very happy to get race number 1 on the leaderboard. All smiles from the French team. The result of the scratch race, Thomas Boudat winning that, Zakharov second, Viviani the Italian in third, Mark Cavendish down there in 6th place. Then it was on to the individual pursuit, and Fernando Gaviria, the man who rides for Ethics Quick Step, overtook Gel Suter of Switzerland. But not only that, he was on a really good ride at this point. He went through the 3,000 meters as the fastest rider on the track. And as we headed in towards the conclusion of this individual pursuit, 4,000 meters, Gaviria was on a very fast ride indeed. He really put on the power, running in towards the finish line to finish in 4:19.000. A very fast time, and a time that was going to stand the test of time from all the other riders. Mark Cavendish got underway in the individual pursuit. He opened up with a very strong opening kilometre, maybe a little bit too fast, 1:7.499, the second fastest opening kilometre. Cavendish finishing eventually in 13th place. The team Skyrider then, Elia Viviani, looking fast out on the track and starting to motor as he headed towards a conclusion of his individual pursuit. Viviani looking to try and eclipse the time of Gaviria, but as he raced in towards the conclusion of his 4,000 meters, he stopped the clock in 4:23.71, good enough for third place for Elia Viviani of Italy. Roger Kluger finishing in 8th place. But that meant that Viviani would be moving towards the top of the leaderboard. The final 2 riders to go were Zakharov and Thomas Boudat. Boudat normally a good individual pursuiter, but it looked like he was under a little bit of pressure. Zakharov a little bit quicker as they raced in towards the concluding 250 meters. Boudat maybe a little bit disappointed with this performance as he raced into the conclusion of the 4,000 meters. Zakharov was first in this pairing in 4:22.843 and Boudat in 4:23.933. And the result of the individual pursuit, Gaviria took it ahead of Lassie Norman Hansen, Viviani in third, and that's the rundown of the top 7 riders. Looking through the rest of the riders, Boudat, the previous winner of that last race, he was in 9th, and Cavendish down in 13th. Here are the points then as we start this event. Elia Viviani leading, Boudat in 3rd, Gaviria there in 4th, poised. And Lassie Norman Hansen, the Olympic champion, in 8th, Mark Cavendish in 9th, Glenn O'Shea there in 10th place. The face of Mark Cavendish. This is the elimination race in the men's Omnium, the 3rd race of 6. All the riders up on the track. There is an elimination of the last rider. That's the orange box that you can see, which will flash when a rider has been eliminated. So very important to keep your wits about you all the way through this race. The riders underway in the men's elimination race. All the riders up on the track. Viviani is the leader of this Omnium, so he goes straight to the front. Very fast already, no holes barred in this elimination. They're all over the place. Glenn O'Shea moving up on the outside for Australia. And it's an almighty fight right now to go to the front of this race. Glenn O'Shea wearing number 1. The silver medalist in 2015, a former world champion. Looks like the American rider is in trouble here at the back of the string of riders, but he now moves his way inside, a nice sneaky move, and on the back we'll find out who is eliminated now. And it is number 37, Jacob During of the United States of America, who is the first rider to be eliminated. The next rider will be eliminated at the back. Keep your eyes on the action there. And it is the rider from Belgium who's in a little bit of difficulty, but it looks like it's going to be the Mexican rider wearing number 28. Ignacio Prado is eliminated. You can see the little orange box, and there is the commissaire who is showing the flag. The little orange box will be flashing. The Polish rider in trouble at the back of the group. And so the next rider to be eliminated will be the Polish rider, that's Adrian Teklinski. A little bit of a move going on. It's Gail Suter at the back, who is against Tim Velt. They overtake the Brazilian rider. And they're getting squeezed at the back. Budat almost in difficulty, but the Korean rider is eliminated, and that is Sang-Hoon Park, who is eliminated this time. And the rider now in a little bit of difficulty at the back of the group. Where's number 3? It's Jasper de Bust. And he is the Belgian rider who rides for Lotto Soudal, the bronze medalist in the Madison in 2015. Oh, Glenn O'Shea sprinting hard. Look how hard they're having to try. And it looked to me like Jasper de Bust could be eliminated that time. In fact, he's not. It is the Danish rider, Lasse Norman Hansen, the Olympic Omnium champion, is removed from the action. This is a furious fight. Gail Suter, actually, the Swiss rider, is he works at the UCI, and he's in here trying to ride the Olympic Games. Jasper de Bust playing a lovely game, moving up. Tim Velt moves up, and he might well have been squeezed out that time. Number 3, Jasper de Bust, the bronze medalist in the Madison World Championships in 2015, is eliminated from the group. And now it is the Japanese rider there in the red, white and black, and Gail Suter. They're in trouble. Gail Suter looks like he's under a lot of pressure there as he tries to stay in the race. Can he overtake one rider? Oh, that was very close. 31. Number 31 is eliminated, and that is Aaron Gate, the world champion in 2013, is removed from the action. The Brazilian rider, who is the rider now in difficulty at the back of the group. And Mark Cavendish also in trouble here. He's got to get him, suddenly found himself squeezed at the back. He doesn't want to be in that position. He moves up, the crowd go mad, and Gail Suter now is finally removed from the action. Just shows you have to be so careful. You can go from front to back in this peloton in literally 300 meters. Cavendish has moved his way back up to the front. Normally very intelligent in this elimination. In Hong Kong in the World Cup, he looked very, very good. Number 20 now at the back. Chung Wung-lung is the difficulty, but the Brazilian now is in trouble. He's trying to move up. That's Gideon Monteiro. And down the bottom of the track, who was eliminated that time? Looked like the Japanese rider, Kazushiki Kuboki. We're getting down to the final. It's like 11 riders left in this group. And it's now the German rider who is, a little bit of bumping and barging going on. And Cavendish and Viviani really are no holes barred at the back of this group. And Cavendish isn't going to be squeezed out. No, he's not. He is giving everyone heart attacks in this venue right now. And it's number 20, Chung Wung-lung of Hong Kong, China, who is eliminated. 10 riders left. Up at the back of the group then is the German rider, Roger Kluge, silver medalist in the points race. A big crash. Tim Velt and Brazil's Monteiro crash, and I think the race might be neutralised for a moment. That's the normal situation. Tim Velt, I hope he's okay. A lot of track burn there. Silver medalist in 2014. Oh, there's a big bump there. Tim Velt sliding a long way on the inside of the track on the blue, the Côte d'Azur. He's just composing himself. These riders are so tough. There's the Brazilian, Gideone Monteiro. And Tim Velt gets a massive round of applause. It was just a touch of wheels, I think, from Velt, either on Thomas Boudat's wheel. Look at that, absolutely burnt all the way down his back. That's going to be painful tonight. He'll wake up stuck to the sheets in the morning. He'll have to peel them from his back. Viviani sneaks down to the bottom of the track. Glenn O'Shea goes immediately with him. The rider who now rides for One Pro Cycling. And the Brazilian goes straight to the front. He doesn't want to fall off again. And Tim Velt is going to rejoin. The lycra is just about intact on his back. And Thomas Boudat is at the back of the string. The winner of the first round of this Omnium earlier on today. Velt stays near the front. Boudat's in the position he doesn't want to be in. Roger Kluge just in front of him. Cavendish looks pretty concentrated. Saw Glenn O'Shea this morning down in the reception of the hotel, just putting the wheels in his bike, getting ready to ride. The gun goes, and this race is back underway. 10 riders left in the string. Viviani in blue on the front, the Team Sky rider. Viviani so far this season has had a good year. He, of course, won a stage of the Dubai Tour. Cavendish won the Tour of Qatar. Roger Kluge going along the top, and Cavendish and Gaviria like a little bit of boxing, don't they? Shoulder to shoulder all the time. Tim Velt makes a move on the outside to get himself out of any difficulty. And the rider who's in difficulty now is the Brazilian rider, and the one who crashed, Gideone Monteiro, is removed from the action. 9 riders left. Nine riders left in this race. On the front, the talented Australian rider, Glenn O'Shea, world champion in 2012. And O'Shea's riding an intelligent race now. Velt and Boudat, a sprint for the line. 26. I think it was number 26, the Kazakhstan rider, Artoy Zakharov, who is eliminated. Just squeezed out as Boudat and Tim Velt race through there. 8 riders left in this elimination race. Thomas Boudat on the front, the rider at the back in trouble now is the Russian rider Manakov, but Velt also delighting the crowd. Number 34, the Russian rider, is removed. Viktor Manikov, the bronze medalist in 2014. 7 riders remain in this elimination race. Tim Veld, the crowd have got on his side now. And Elia Viviani now in trouble. Viviani, is he going to be out? Oh, Glenn O'Shea may well be the rider. Number 1, Glenn O'Shea, just couldn't find a gap to go through. We are down to the last 6. Gaviria on the front. Of course, used to be a teammate of Cavendish in the Ethics Quick-Step team. Everyone thought he was the replacement for Cavendish until they signed Marcel Kittel, so there might be a little bit of needle between those 2 riders. Viviani and Budak going shoulder to shoulder. Viviani not happy with that, and he is eliminated. The leader of this Omnium shakes his head. Thomas Budak is a very clever bike rider. Rides, of course, for Direct Energy. Gaviria's there. Cavendish looking round at Roger Kluge. Budak, Cavendish playing a little bit of a dangerous game here. Kluge rides for Yam Cycling. Cavendish just holding them off. He's playing the usual game. Now he's going to accelerate around using his track speed and his sprint speed. Who's out this time? That was close. It looks like Budak maybe. No elimination that time. Surely there must be an elimination. All the riders remain in. It wasn't that much of a dead heat, was it? Do you agree? I don't know. It's Tim Veld now who is under pressure. Gaviria's going away, and the riders have got to go with this. Cavendish is quite happy to eliminate a rider. He looks there. Who is out this time? 14. Number 14, Thomas Budak, is eliminated. He was the winner of the first race. We're down to the final 4. We will go down to 2 riders, and then it will be a sprint. And now Tim Veld finally succumbs to his injuries. And the crowd are going to give him a massive reception. The legs have finally gone. That adrenaline rush you get after a crash, if you're okay, has finally worn off, and Tim Veld is going to go and try and sleep. 3 riders left on the track. Mark Cavendish of Great Britain, Roger Kluge in the colours of Germany, and Fernando Gaviria. Gaviria's going to go for the long one. Cavendish is going to play the game. Roger Kluge is prepared to let these 2 riders go for it, so Kluge is out, and now Gaviria. Kluge and Gaviria. And Cavendish is looking and going, how can I possibly get back on the wheel of Fernando Gaviria? Gaviria hits the line then, and he will win the elimination race. Mark Cavendish is going to finish in 2nd place. So Fernando Gaviria is the winner of the elimination, and he says thank you to Roger Kluge. Mark Cavendish finishes in 2nd place. That was an interesting finish. Mark Cavendish says thank you very much to the crowd. Here's the results then of today's elimination race. Fernando Gaviria wins for Colombia. Mark Cavendish takes 2nd. Roger Kluge takes 3rd. Gaviria will take 40 points. Cavendish will take the 2nd place, 38. Kluge will take 36. And there's the rundown of the next page of riders, down to Aaron Gate in 14th place. Fernando Gaviria goes into the track centre, played that one very cute. Cavendish discussing with Heiko, the team coach of British Cycling. Wasn't entirely happy with that, I don't think. He lost 2 points to Gaviria. And here are the standings after 3 events. Fernando Gaviria with 102, Viviani with 102. Budak remains now in 3rd place, and Mark Cavendish moves into 7th. It's a big ask now for riders who are further on down to move up to that top place. Glenn O'Shea of Australia in 9th place. That's our top 14 riders. Lassie Norman Hansen not having a great run of events. And the New Zealander Aaron Gate down in 20th. A disappointment for him so far. Gaviria smiling away. He'll be happy with that for all sorts of reasons. Gaviria warming down in the track centre. Cavendish having a good old chat as usual. So he's going to wander into the track centre. Day 1 is over. We've had some great racing so far, haven't we? A fantastic crowd here in the track centre. 6,000 fans. And we've had some exciting and some artistic racing so far in these World Championships. The next race on the track will be the men's points race final, a straight ride to decide who will be the world champion. Here's the start list then for the men's points race. The defending champion Arthur Ershoff leads with wearing number 1, as you can see. Also in the field there for France, Benjamin Thomas. Claudio Imhoff could be a rider who could take this points race. Ian Holt goes for the United States of America. Well, the points race is always entertaining. Lots of action all the way through as we take a look at the next list of riders. One non-starter will be Lee Lampeter, who is taking to the start here for Germany. Andreas Graf could be a challenger, so could be Kenny de Ketelaere, a great 6-day rider, and Eloy Teruel has also been on the podium in this event. Jonathan Dibben goes for Great Britain. He's already won a team pursuit silver. Martin Blaha, another strong rider. Felix English could be a surprise in here. And Sam Welsford, already a team pursuit world champion. The crowd getting ready for these 160 laps of racing, 16 sprints along the way. But keep your wits about you. Stay with me as we find out who wins the men's points race. There will be points every 10 laps. If you take a lap, you get another 20 points along the way. As we look through the field, remember Leif Lampeter will not start for Germany, but the rest of the field very strong indeed. Italian rider just making his way into the string of riders. There's Leon Battazzo. The Belgian rider, Kenny de Ketelaere. There is the Japanese rider, Natsuya Hashimoto. Sam Welsford, Felix English, Martin Blaha. That's the colours of Portugal. That was Ivo Oliveira. There's Jonathan Dibben of Great Britain. Ukrainian rider, and the Belarusian is next. Right at the front end, the Hong Kong China rider. And there is Eloy Teruel, the Spanish rider in red and yellow. Jonathan Dibben just having a conversation with Heiko, the coach. And this race then underway. The intermediate sprint points. We'll keep you up to date with who is in the lead. 40 kilometres, 160 laps, 16 sprints to decide who is the world champion. The gun goes for the start of this men's points race to decide who will be the world champion. Everyone will just settle down. I'm sure we're going to see a few attacks along the way. It's interesting, I was talking to the Irish team manager, the team coach earlier on today. Felix English felt very strong in the scratch race the other night. Used to ride for the JLT Condor team on the road, now rides for Madison Genesis on one of the British teams. Martin Blaha goes to the front of the string of riders, followed immediately by Liam Battazzo, the Italian rider. Just to give you an update, who's been in the medals over the last few years. Artur Urshov is the defending champion from Russia. Teruel was the silver medalist last year. Previous races, Edwin Avila has been the champion. Tom Scully was in second place in 2014, and Teruel has been on the podium for the last 3 years. 2013 we saw the emergence of Simon Yates, now riding of course for Orica Greenedge. He took the world title in Minsk in Belarus. Kenny de Ketelaere has been a bronze medalist riding in here for Belgium in 2012. So some big names have been medalists in this, including Ben Swift, Cameron Meyer. So do tweet us in today if you would like to during this points race. It is the long race where we can answer all your questions. 150 laps to go. We're seeing Liam Battazzo going on the attack, immediately joined by the Polish rider, the Portuguese rider. 14 and 17, the two riders on the attack. So it is Ivo Oliveira on the attack, and Liam Battazzo of Italy. These two riders combining at the front to try and take a lap on the rest of the field as we head towards the first sprint of the night. 152 laps to go, a capacity crowd here in the Lee Valley VeloPark, the site of the London 2012 Olympic Games. Thank you for joining us. 1 lap to go for the first sprint here in this points race. The points race is all about accumulating the points along the way. That's all that matters. And it is going to be Oliveira who takes the first points, but Battazzo takes second. And it looks like the sprint is going to be between the Frenchman and Jonathan Dibben of Great Britain. First sprint then goes to the Portuguese rider. The results of sprint number 1, so you get the idea. 5 points go to the winner, Ivo Oliveira of Portugal, Liam Battazzo in second, Benjamin Thomas third, and Jonathan Dibben in 4th place. Oliveira then the leader after 1 sprint. Thanks very much for your questions, Yolanda Pretorius. When will John Spies compete again? I haven't seen him on the list of riders competing yet, so I'll update you as soon as I see him on a start list. Maybe he was only competing in 1 race earlier on in the World Championships. That breakaway then has come to nothing. The race is all back together. And now we see our next move at the front, and it's number 22, a Hashimoto of Japan, who tries to make a little bit of a break. If you look closely under the saddle, you can see the power meter of Hashimoto, which is collecting all the data. There we are, perfect camera shot. That little power meter will collect the wattage that he's putting out, his cadence, his heart rate and everything, so the coaches can analyse exactly how he has performed during the race. So these two riders then going clear. Hashimoto has been joined here by Dibben. Dibben comes from my home city of Southampton, down on the south coast of England. And Dibben now is going clear, trying to take a lap on the rest of the field, looking Very good so far, these two riders. The Japanese rider, Hashimoto, an attacking kind of rider. Dibben and Hashimoto are building their advantage now as they head towards the second sprint of the night. Remember, 20 points for the riders who take a lap. The bell goes with 1 lap to go to the second sprint of the night. And Dibben is looking here to accelerate so he gets as close as he possibly can to the back of the peloton, and then once they go through the sprint point, they'll steadily slow up normally, and that'll give them the chance to get on. So Dibben takes the points, and it's the Australian rider there who is going to close up those points, Sam Welsford. And now Dibben and Hashimoto will work extremely hard to try and take a lap on the rest of the field. They're very close now. They're about a quarter of a lap away. Dibben and Hashimoto could be the first two riders to take a lap. Confirmation on the screen there. Jonathan Dibben takes 5, Hashimoto 3, Welsford 2, and Hierneth takes 1. They are almost on the back of the race now. Jonathan Dibben and Hashimoto are going to be 1 lap ahead in this points race. Dibben takes an early lap. Hashimoto takes the points as well. 20 points go to the Briton and the Japanese rider. That is going to completely change the standings. We'll wait for confirmation as we see Eloy Teruel now trying to stretch this race a little bit. The rider from Spain trying to go clear. He's the rider in the yellow and red. Confirmation then of the standings after 2 sprints. Jonathan Dibben of Great Britain leads with 26 points, Hashimoto 23, and Bertazzo in 3rd place. So you get the idea now, 5 points for the winner of each sprint, 20 points for taking a lap, and you win the points race by scoring the most points. Big attack at the front now, and this comes from number 19, and this is Andreas Graf of Austria. And that's on board now with the Austrian rider Andreas Graf as we look back at the New Zealander. Great shot as he goes on the attack. That's Luke Mugway who's trying to close the gap up on the Austrian rider. Getting close now to the next sprint. That went quick, didn't it? 10 laps. On the front of the race now. It is still the Austrian rider going for the points. Benjamin Thomas of France trying to go round the outside, and Thomas looks like he's going to take the 5, and it is going to be the rider in 2nd place from Austria, and that is Andreas Graf. There's the photo with a slow motion finish. Benjamin Thomas leads across the line with 130 laps of racing to go. Sprint number 3, Benjamin Thomas takes 5, Andreas Graf takes 3, and Luis Sepulveda 2. Nikita Panasenko takes the 1 point. On the front of the race now, a group of riders going clear, about 8 riders going clear. And Liam Bertazzo of Italy trying to close the gap. Benjamin Thomas is the leader. He swings up to share the pacemaking. The standings after 3 sprints, still the leader is Jonathan Dibben of Great Britain, Hashimoto 2nd, and Benjamin Thomas in 3rd place. There's our leader from Great Britain, Jonathan Dibben. Just having a look here at this leading group. Peloton kind of split into 2 groups right now. Heinrich Strobel, an interesting question about these aero helmets. Well, they can't wear a teardrop, a full teardrop aero hat in a race like this, but they can wear an aero road helmet. such like the one that the Kazakhstan rider is riding, or if you look through the group, you see Jonathan Dibben is wearing an aero helmet, but number 5 there, Nikita Panasenko, is wearing an aero hat. The New Zealand rider leading here. This is the onboard shot from our New Zealand rider. As we look at the Polish rider just behind him, we're getting a real insight as to what this racing is all about, just how much these riders have to lean over, the swapping, the changing, the gaps that are going on as we head towards the next sprint of the night. Luke Mudway, 122 laps to go. And it is the Australian rider who now hits the front. That is Sam Welsford, such a talented team pursuiter already. Looking round at Benjamin Thomas, Jonathan Dibben looking to get in the mix here to score a few more points. Dibben looking to just stay up there on the top of the leaderboard, sneaks through, riding a very controlled race. But again, it is Benjamin Thomas who scores another 5 points. Sam Welsford takes the 2nd place, Dibben takes 3rd, and Andreas Graf will take 4th place with 120 laps of racing to go. Sprint number 4 of 16, Benjamin Thomas takes 5, Sam Welsford on the board with 3 points, Dibben takes 2. Four riders going clear. Here's our leaderboard. Jonathan Dibben with 28, Hashimoto with 23. They're the 2 riders who took a lap, and Benjamin Thomas accumulating nicely with 12 points. Welsford there in 4th. Dibben looking really composed. Suddenly a big reaction comes at the front of the peloton. Andreas Graf, a great 6-day rider, swings up the track. Just to finish that question about the aero helmets, so you're allowed to wear the aero hat, the filled-in helmet, that little teardrop, but not the full aero time trial helmet in this style of racing. But it does give you an aerodynamic advantage even in a peloton. The minute you go to the front, you will save a few watts of power. Little reaction coming at the front of this race, and the rider on the attack right now in the red colours is the Hong Kong China rider. There he is, King Lok Chung. Behind him, the Russian rider reacts to come across to the leaders now. The Australian rider who's in here at the 4th place overall, fantastic rider, only 20 years of age is Sam Welsford. Already a national champion in the individual pursuit. Welsford, one of the talented Australians that's coming through now. Next sprint coming up, 110 laps to go will be the next sprint. It's the New Zealander on the front, and now the move goes around the outside, and involved in the mix is the Belgian rider, Kenny de Ketelaere, the bronze medalist in 2012. De Ketelaere throws his bike at the line, and he will take the 5 points by the looks of things. Benjamin Thomas again scoring some points by the looks of things for France. Kenny de Ketelaere looking composed. He took the 5 points in sprint number 5. Roman Ramanau of Belarus took 2. The 2nd place, sorry, Ben Thomas took 2, and Luke Mudway took 1 point. Benjamin Thomas working hard. The standings after sprint 5 of 16, still Jonathan Dibben leads with 28 points. Thomas closing in with 14, and Kenny de Ketelaere now into 4th. There's our leader, Dibben looking comfortable. Still a long, long way to go. On the front then, Kenny de Ketelaere from Oudenaarde in Belgium, rides for Top Sport Vlaanderen. Madison world champion. Took the Madison world title back in 2012. We're on board here with the New Zealand rider, looking back at Andreas Graf, the Austrian rider. See how that mouth is so open, the shoulders hunched over those handlebars, keeping the hands and arms nice and straight. Kenny de Ketelaere, 30 years of age now, from Belgium. Great shot here of the New Zealander's back of his bike as we see him go into the string of riders. Getting close now to the next sprint of the night. That's coming up in 2 laps' time. On the front now, Felix English of Ireland looking around at Jonathan Dibben, riding with those arms very close together. Really narrow bars Jonathan Dibben rides. It's very aerodynamic indeed, very efficient. He's on the front, he's looking to score a few more points here. Moving up on the outside, Luke Mudgway of New Zealand looking to get involved in the action. Kenny de Ketelaere is also there. Dibben now gives it a little bit of a kick, and he takes, I think, the 5 points for Great Britain again. Close though. Mudgway may well have taken it. Oh, photograph between those two. Confirmation then that Jonathan Dibben, I think, may well have taken it by the crowd reaction, but we'll wait until we get it on the screen. There we go, sprint number 6, 5 points to Dibben, the New Zealander Luke Mudgway. A great performance for him so far with 3 points, and that's the rest of the riders. The standings after 6 sprints: Jonathan Dibben of Great Britain, a 10-point advantage on Hashimoto. Benjamin Thomas of France still with 14, Kenny de Ketelaere with 7 points. Do tweet me if you'd like to, at @McCrossan, if you're sitting watching these track cycling world championships. Who are you supporting? Let me know. Doesn't matter what nation you support, as long as you're supporting someone. We're seeing an attack going on now at the front. This attack, Kenny de Ketelaere. This is a dangerous one for the leader, because Benjamin Thomas is also in there, and so is Andreas Graf. This could turn the standings on their head. An immediate reaction now, and Dibben is a long, long way back in the string of riders. The Hong Kong China rider, King Long Chung, is trying to close the gap. Eloy Terrell is also there, but Kenny de Ketelaere is a master at taking laps, a Madison world champion. And suddenly Dibben is on the back foot, big style here. 3 riders going clear, and you do not let Kenny de Ketelaere out of your sight in a race where you have to take laps. Andreas Graf in the string. If this pace calms down, then Dibben is going to find himself in a bit of trouble, because Benjamin Thomas would go to the top of the leaderboard by 1 point. The Frenchman has been accumulating points all night. Dibben is trying to react for Great Britain, but he's in no man's land. He's made a big mistake here in this points race. He just sat too far near the back. He's had to do a massive amount of work. But Benjamin Thomas knows that if he now scores the points, then he will be the rider who will go to the top of the leaderboard the minute he takes a lap on the rest of the field. So it's Thomas, Graf and de Ketelaere who are just mixing this race up. They're about to lap a group of riders in front of them, but the peloton is deemed as the biggest group of riders on the track, which means that Dibben is safely in there, and de Ketelaere, Graf and Benjamin Thomas have to catch the main body of the peloton. Sprint number 7, Andreas Graf takes 5, Thomas takes 3, de Ketelaere takes 2 points, and Eloy Terrell takes 1 point. Well, there is a real chase going on now De Ketelaar, Thomas and Graf have caught a small group of riders, but they haven't lapped the field. The standings after sprint number 7. Jonathan Dibben, 33 points. Hashimoto with 23. Thomas with 17. If he laps the field, Thomas will go to the top of the leaderboard. De Ketelaar now is attacking hard to try and lap the field. Kenny De Ketelaar is getting very, very close now to lapping the peloton, and Thomas is trying to go with him. This is a big chase. This peloton is smashed to pieces all the way around this track. De Ketelaar, he is the leader, leader in terms of where we are on the track. Keep your eye on him. In the turquoise, the Belgian rider is firing on all cylinders right now as he tries to go across to catch the back of the string. The minute he does that, he will score 20 points. Graf is trying to grow with him. 84 laps to go. Kenny De Ketelaar doesn't have the legs here to catch the group. There's still this big chase going on, and it's Thomas and Graf who need to help him. De Ketelaar slots in on the back of the group to try and get a little bit of help to then accelerate again. The main body of the peloton are just about a quarter of a lap away, and Dibben somehow is holding on to his lead in this points race. 82 laps to go. Dibben now goes to the front of the peloton. If he knows the rules right now, he'll realise that he's got to score the points in this one. But right now he can't, because De Ketelaar, Graf, Thomas are the leading 3 riders on the track. So Dibben, no point in doing any work. De Ketelaar, Graf and Thomas are going to score a few more points here, which is going to move them right up in the standings, and Dibben is going to fall away from the top of the leaderboard the minute they catch the leaders. De Ketelaar takes 5 points in sprint number 8. Graf takes 3. Thomas takes 2. Ian Holt of the United States of America takes 1. And any moment now, this race is going to come back together. The commissaires will point at what they deem to be the front of the race, and that is the De Ketelaar group on the track. It's taken them a long, long time. But De Ketelaar, Graf and Thomas are about to score 20 points. And that's going to put Thomas right up at the top of the leaderboard. De Ketelaar would be in 2nd and Dibben would be in 3rd place. The junction is about to be made. And the junction is made. 20 points will go now to Thomas, to De Ketelaar and to Graf. Jonathan Dibben made a big mistake there. He went to the back of the peloton and he let De Ketelaar out of his sight. Well, any moment now we're going to get confirmation on the screen of that group of riders taking the lap. And I think we're going to find the Frenchman at the top of the leaderboard. The standings after sprint number 8, confirmation then. Benjamin Thomas of France is the leader. De Ketelaar in 2nd place and Dibben in 3rd. Here's the rundown. Hashimoto also has taken a lap. 23 points. Dibben has learned a little bit of a harsh lesson there about sitting near the back of the group of riders. Now the acceleration happens again. It's 39, 34, 33. And it is the New Zealander who takes 5. Dibben will take 3. That will move him up a little bit. A good sprint there by Jonathan Dibben, still in with a shout. The Frenchman is riding a strong race so far. It's a long way, isn't it? 160 laps. Confirmation of sprint number 9. Luke Mudgway takes 5, Dibben takes 3, Graf takes 2, and Czelarski takes 1 point for the Polish team. Claudia Imhoff now of Switzerland at the front of the race. The standings after 9 sprints. Benjamin Thomas has a 3-point advantage on the British rider Jonathan Dibben, with Andreas Graf and De Ketelaere tied on points now. Here's the rest of the standings, down to 7th place. There's our leader, Benjamin Thomas of France, with 39 points. Attack at the front now from the American rider, and this is Ian Holt, who's trying to go clear. Holt now at the moment is lying in 12th overall, hasn't scored on the leaderboard. He's making an effort. He's opened up about a quarter of a lap, and if they let him go, he would move himself right up into equal 5th place overall. Felix English now going on the move with 64 laps to go. Ian Holt of the United States of America, followed immediately by English for Ireland. Big move now at the front of the race. And it's the Chilean rider. There he is, wearing number 9, Luis Sepulveda, trying to go clear with Felix English and Ian Holt. 62 laps to go. Coming up now to the next sprint lap. Very important for anyone who is looking to try and win this points race overall. The counter-attack comes from the Australian rider. This is Sam Welsford. English is going to take 5 points, followed by Sepulveda, followed by Holt, and the 1 point is going to go to Sam Welsford, who's going to try and get himself up to this trio in front and go clear to try and take a lap. A little bit of reinforcements making their way to the front of the race. Sam Welsford, a great team pursuiter, goes now to the front of this trio. Ian Holt's going to slot himself into the wheels. He's unable to go with that, so Welsford has got to make the junction to Sepulveda, who is there in 1st place. English in the green of Ireland in 2nd, and Welsford in 3rd. Sprint number 10, the standings show like this. The 20-year-old Frenchman Benjamin Thomas leads, 3 points on Jonathan Dibben of Britain, and Andreas Graf in 3rd. This is the next group of riders, Hashimoto having taken 20. Thank you for joining me for this points race. We will, of course, have the victory ceremonies of the men's individual pursuit and the men's points race before the end of the night. 57 laps to go. It's still anyone's race. Things calm down a little bit. See the rocking of the shoulders from the onboard camera of New Zealand. Such a tough race this is. Flat out bike racing, sprints every 10 laps. Your heart rate is on its maximum. It is mentally taxing, and it is very, very tough on the body. Eloy Terrell hasn't really shown in this race yet. What do you think of the onboard cameras then? Let me know on Twitter at @McCrossan is where you can tweet me this evening. I'm impressed with this New Zealander, riding very, very strongly in this race. Luke Mudgway up there in 6th place overall, just hasn't managed to get that little bit of luck to put himself into the moves to take the lap on the rest of the field. Elo Teruel is 11th at the moment. 3 years he's been on the podium, the Spaniard, so expect to see some sort of action from him before the end of the race. One lap to go to the next sprint. Dibben makes his way towards the front. Thomas is on his wheel. The Chilean rider Sepulveda in the red, white and blue is leading through, going shoulder to shoulder with Hashimoto. Dibben looking to try to close the gap on Benjamin Thomas, which he does. So he now is a little bit closer to Thomas. I think 2 points will separate those two riders at the top of the leaderboard. The result of sprint number 11, Aya Hashimoto of Japan takes 5, Sepulveda 3, Dibben and Thomas, they're the two riders battling for the win, 3rd and 4th. Here's the overall standings, it's poised. Benjamin Thomas with 40, Dibben with 38, Graf with 34, De Ketelaar with 34. Any one of those riders can win the race. An attack now from Andreas Graf. This is a dangerous one. This man is on 34 points, and Andreas Graf, another rider who is very, very good at the 6 days. And 6-day riders, they are used to going for laps. They ride the Madison Chases. And therefore, they're used to trying to go away, take a lap on the field, because Madison's all about the team who over 6 days scores the maximum number of laps on the rest of the opposition. Graf is going clear here. This is a massive danger for the rest of these riders. He's on 34 points, he needs 20, he'll go to the top of the leaderboard. He will immediately take away the gold medal hopes of a few riders here if he does. Andreas Graf, can he get across? The crowd are starting to get behind him. Andreas Graf looking to try and take this one. He's been riding the 6 days over the winter. He was 3rd in Copenhagen. He won 3 national championships last year. The points, the Madison and the Criterium. Can he close up on the field here? If he does, he will immediately go to the top of the leaderboard. Now we come to the next sprint. Graf is going to take the points. Dibben is trying to go for this one, but I don't know what happened there. I don't know what Dibben has done. The tactics are interesting. Maybe he hasn't got the legs, maybe he's cramping up. Andreas Graf goes through, he takes 5 points. Suddenly, Jonathan Dibben was unable to go with that move. He needs those points to stay up at the top of the leaderboard, and 40 laps to go. Things are starting to hurt out here. Sprint number 12, Andreas Graf with 5 points. He's the rider on the attack. Ramanau of Belarus 3, Hashimoto 2, Panasenko with 1 point. Or is Dibben playing a dangerous game here? Here's the standings. Thomas leads with 40 points. Graf now has 39 in silver. Dibben in bronze with 38. Still, Andreas Graf is on his own. De Ketelaar has just gone to the front of the peloton. Dibben, I think, is banking on Andreas Graf not coming back here. So is Thomas. But any time that happens, it gives the Austrian rider the morale boost. De Ketelaar's on the front of the peloton. Andreas Graf, mouth wide open, the sweat is in his eyes. Thanks for your tweets, Lynn Greenslade. Thank you very much. Enjoy the racing. Hello to Tim Kenyon, the You're loving the onboard cameras, and no surprise, supporting Jonathan Dibben, Tim Kenyon, the brother of the Sky professional Pete Kenyon, and a fantastic coach. Andreas Graf going down the back straight now. He can see the peloton. If he gets there, he will be the leader of this points race with 35 points, 35 laps to go. Who do you think is going to win this one? It's still anybody's race. Dibben, to me, looks like he is starting to suffer a little bit. Those shoulders are rocking. Andreas Graf, on the other hand, remember, he's a 6-day rider. He doesn't mind the pain. He doesn't mind sitting out there like this. He's just hoping for a lull in the action. A little group of 4 riders going away. Dibben is in a little bit of trouble now. Graf slowly, surely, pedaling towards the back of the peloton. He can see them just in front of him. Behind him, a group of riders, and included in here is the Australian rider Sam Welsford. A great performance from him. This would move him up in the standings, but the danger man in here is De Ketelaere, who has got 34 points. Andreas Graf is in the pain cave right now. 31 laps to go. De Ketelaere is trying to close up as well, and the peloton have got to react now to this attack of Andreas Graf. The green shoes take it. De Ketelaere will take the 2nd place. He's looking to add a little bit of extra firepower to Andreas Graf's attack. 30 laps to go. There's our leader on the track right now. Andreas Graf has 5. He swings up to the top of the track. He looks to me like he's spent. Kenny De Ketelaere takes 2nd. The gamble of Thomas and Dibben, is it going to pay off? Confirmation of the standings. Andreas Graf now the top of the leaderboard with 44. The Frenchman Thomas with 40. Dibben in bronze medal with 38. Here's our front group. Pick them up on the camera. There we go. It is De Ketelaere, Graf. Sam Welsford is also in there in the colours of Australia. What a race this has been. The defending champion, Artur Ershoff, hasn't really been involved in the action. He's 1 lap down right now. The race is starting to come back together. And it is the Japanese rider, Hashimoto, with Dibben are just trying to ride their way back to the front group. This will bring everything back together, and then it will be the leaders. I think Dibben's legs are giving out a little bit. He is trying desperately to get across. He's slowly cruising across. He needs to get there. He looks pretty composed. He's been training in Tenerife during the winter, and he's going to make it to the front group. So we have all the medal contenders in this front group now. The race is coming back together. Has he been suffering, or has Dibben got this all under control for the bronze medal? Graf of Austria, we know he's suffering. Thomas of France is also in this group now as another attack goes. Hong Kong, China now on the attack, wearing number 4, King Lok Chung. He's the rider in the red with a blue helmet. In terms of his position overall, he doesn't challenge the standings. He's way down. He's got 1 point so far. 22 laps to go. The bell goes. Not many sprints left in this points race, and only 6 points separate Graf, Thomas and Dibben, and De Ketelaere could nick the bronze medal. In fact, De Ketelaere could nick any one of the medals. The points are going to go here to King Lok Chung. De Ketelaere fighting against Mudgeway, and that is going to move De Ketelaere up into the bronze medal position now, with 2 sprints left. Look at this, throwing their bikes to the line. 20 laps to go, 2 more sprints, and it's still anyone's race. King Lok Chung took the 5 points. And here's confirmation of that sprint with 2 to go. King Lok Chung with 5, Mudgway with 3, Takatila with 2, Hashimoto with 1. And that's going to change the standings overall. Here's the standings. Andreas Graf, 44 in gold. Thomas in silver. Takatila moves up into bronze. And here's the standings down to the top 8. What a thrilling race we've had so far. Takatila has moved up. And little gaps all over the place now as the points are being swept away here by these attacks. So Thomas, Takatila, Dibben and Graf can't really be endangered except by Hashimoto of Japan. But right now the medals are going to Austria, France and Belgium. Thanks for your tweets. At @McCrossan is where you can tweet me if you would like to. Thanks for everyone who's been watching. Andreas, there's a big crash on the track. And the leader, the second place rider, Thomas, has just hit the deck. So has Hashimoto. But this is the story because Benjamin Thomas now has hit the deck. And he is the rider who is in the silver medal position. And now this is going to be because they just have to get back up on the track. It isn't going to be neutralised. It's a full-on race now, and the Frenchman has to get back on the track. He gets back on the track now, but hasn't got enough left to get involved in the action. 12 laps of racing to go. Dibben's moving up, and Takatila, they sense the possibility of nicking the silver medal here. Takatila's on the front. Dibben is moving around the outside as well. A furious sprint going in. Dibben makes his move. Takatila is there. Dibben with one more sprint to go. Goes through. That will put him back in the medals. 5 points to the Briton. Takatila, I think, also scored some points as well. What a race this has been. Andreas Graf was also up there. It's all going to switch around again. 5 points to the Briton, Jonathan Dibben. Raman Ramanal took 3, Takatila takes 2, Graf took 1. There's only 1 sprint remaining. And right now, there are going to be 4 points separating the top 3. 5 points separating the top 4. It's going to come down to the last sprint. Sprint 15, Graf leads, 45, Dibben 43, Takatila 41, Thomas with 40. It's going to come down to the last sprint of the night. Where is the Frenchman? Is he back safely in this race? Andreas Graf trying to go away. He's in the gold medal position right now. Andreas Graf trying to lead this one out. 7 laps to go. He looks down. King Lok Chung goes. Elo Terrell. Dibben is not prepared to go with a move, but he only needs 2 points. There is Benjamin Thomas. What a race for the Frenchman. Crashing just before the finish of this race when he was looking set for a medal. King Lok Chung now goes away. Elo Terrell's in second place on the track. Ian Holt is also there. But now it's going to be the fight for the medals. Remember, 5, 3, 2 and 1 are the final points of the night. 5 laps of racing to go. 5 points separate the 4 top riders. What an incredible race. But the Frenchman now has reacted. He is looking to put himself back in the medals and take the final points of the night. What an incredible ride by this young Frenchman. This would put him possibly into gold medal if none of the other riders score the points. Well, he's got hardly any lycra on his backside, but right now he's absolutely motoring around this track. 3 laps to go. This Frenchman is getting the crowd on his feet. Listen to the crowd going right now. Jonathan Dibben reacts. Benjamin Thomas is there. Dibben is absolutely flying around this track. 1 lap to go now. 1 lap to go. It is a pursuit between Thomas and Dibben. Dibben is going for it now. Jonathan Dibben is absolutely motoring. Decatur is there. Is this going to be enough? He needs big place. Jonathan Dibben crosses the line. What a sprint. But Graf took second place. They are going to be equal on points. Jonathan Dibben and Graf equal on points. On countback, that would mean, I think, that Dibben would be the world champion and Graf would be in second place. Decatur would be in third, but Jonathan Dibben sits up. He will be the world champion. What a sprint by Jonathan Dibben. The final points go to Jonathan Dibben of Great Britain. Graf took 3, they're equal on points, but on countback, Jonathan Dibben will be the world champion for Great Britain. The crowd are absolutely on their feet. That is one of the best points races I have ever seen. Confirmation of the result. Jonathan Dibben of Great Britain wins the world title. Andreas Graf of Austria takes the silver. Decatur takes the bronze. What a stunning points race, full of action, full of intrigue, full of crashes. And he really did play it cool. Look at this for a final effort. I thought he was suffering at one time, but he had enough power, enough speed, enough fight to go through and take the world title for Great Britain. He goes flying past Benjamin Thomas, who then is caught by Graf and by Decatur as well. But you have to admire the fight of the Frenchman as well. What a win by Jonathan Dibben. Rainbow bands to the man from Southampton. This crowd are on their feet, going absolutely wild. They have seen one of the best points races in history. The last British winner of the points race was Simon Yates in 2013. Now rides, of course, for Orica Green Edge, one of the most prestigious talents in world bike racing. All smiles from Jonathan Dibben. Andreas Graf, what a fantastic race from him. Jonathan Dibben just looking around. Needs to get tidied up, ready for the victory ceremony. Confirmation of the result of the points race. Jonathan Dibben of Great Britain wins with 48 points. Andreas Graf of Austria takes the silver. Decatur takes the bronze. Here's the rundown of the top 16. And we'll run through the rest of the riders. He goes in there for the interview. Well, he's delighted this crowd this evening. This was the final move with a stunning turn of pace. Dibben all smiles as he looks around, daylight between him and the rest of the field in that final sprint. He's tried for so long to win one of these world titles, and finally all the calculations, all the riding came right for him to take that title. Andreas Graf was a fantastic competitor in there as well. And now we get ready and get our breath back for the men's individual pursuit of victory ceremony.
Cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde piste UCI, poursuite individuelle homme.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony for the UCI Track Cycling World Championships Men's Individual Pursuit.
Les médailles et le maillot de champion du monde UCI sont remis par un membre du comité directeur
The
de
victory
l'UCI.
ceremony then
The
of the
medals
men's
of the UCI
individual
World
pursuit that we
Champions
saw
jersey
earlier on
will
this
be
evening.
presented by member of the UCI Management Committee, Renato Di Rocco.
Médaille de bronze, la Grande-Bretagne.
Winner of the bronze medal, representing Great Britain, Andrew Tennant.
The bronze medal goes to Andrew Tennant of Great Britain.
Médaille d'argent, l'Allemagne.
Winner of the silver medal, representing Germany, Dominic Weinstein.
And the silver medal goes to the German Dominic Weinstein.
Champion du monde et vainqueur de la médaille d'or lors de la poursuite individuelle homme des championnats du monde piste UCI d'Italie.
The UCI Track Cycling World Championship Men's Individual Pursuit gold medalist and winner of the UCI World Champions jersey, representing Italy, Filippo Ganna.
The Italian Filippo Ganna takes the world title in the men's individual pursuit. There's our podium then, and the rainbow bands on the shoulders of Filippo Ganna, the new world champion.
Chair of UK Sport Major Events Panel, Nicky Roche.
The flowers being presented to the medal winners.
Mesdames et messieurs, l'hymne
And now the
national
national
de
anthem
l'Italie.
of Italy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Italy.
The podium in the men's individual pursuit, Andrew Tennant, Dominic Weinstein, and the new world champion Filippo Ganna of Italy. All smiles then from Filippo Ganna. A fantastic last couple of laps from him to win that individual pursuit. As we've got used to then, he'll go over and sign some of the jerseys alongside all the other riders who have done so far. Pretty sure that's Mr. Santini who's just giving him a hug. Filippo Ganna then, the 19-year-old who rides for Lompre Merida, adds a world title to his previous performances. Signing his name then, as we of course will have one more ceremony to come. Here's the moment. Andy Tennant gives Johnny Dibben a big hug. Members of the team pursuit team, they train together all the time. As we get ready now to hear from the new world champion, Jonathan Dibben of Great Britain.
Jonathan, what an impressive attack that was at the very end of that race.
Yeah, it's more of a sprint than an attack. Your Air 2 had to catch the French guy and get the 5 points for the win. So just saved it the last 10 laps and 100% to the line.
We feel you very, very moved, very emotional with this victory. Is this really a team victory for Team GB?
Yeah, massively. You know, got a World Champs jersey for the lads, and we just missed out yesterday, so it's good to get, you know, one for the team today, and definitely very emotional. I didn't come in aiming in team pursuit, and to get a second in that, and then anything after that, you know, just go into the races and give what you've got. It's unbelievable to get the win.
And for yourself personally, this must be a huge achievement.
Yeah, biggest thing I've ever won, biggest thing I've ever done. And as you can hear, the crowd was unbelievable, you know. Every time I opened my mouth, move left, move right, it was a massive cheer, and it just keeps your morale up, and yeah, massive, unbelievable. In the home crowd, massive.
Must be a special feeling winning here in London.
Yeah, exactly, you know, it's a world title in your home country, it doesn't get much better.
What about the celebration tonight? How are you going to celebrate this tonight?
I would, just go out and go back, get some food, have a cool down, and then, yeah, celebrate.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Jonathan Dibben wins the world points race. I've known him since he was a youngster starting riding his bike. He comes from my home city, and that is an absolutely brilliant performance by the young rider from Great Britain. Here's how he won it. He made a few little mistakes along the way, but it all came good. Benjamin Thomas racing away. You have to admire the way that Frenchman got back up onto the track. Dibben, though, look at the speed. He's so fast. He's looked good all the way through the winter on the track, and he races across the line. He knew he'd got it. He takes the world title. A big, big moment for Jonathan Dibben. I think there might be a little bit of emotion to come now. A home crowd it doesn't get much better than that, as he said.
Mesdames et messieurs, cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde piste UCI, course au point 40 km hommes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the medal ceremony.
He adds
for the
his world
UCI
title
Track
to that
Cycling
one by
World
Laura Trott.
Championship Men's points race.
Les médailles et le maillot de champion du monde UCI sont remis par membres du comité directeur de l'UCI.
The medals and UCI World Champions jersey will be presented by member of the UCI Management Committee, Tom Van Dam.
Médaille de bronze, la Belgique.
Winner of the bronze medal representing Belgium, Kenny de Ketelaere.
Kenny de Ketelaere takes the bronze medal for Belgium. Rode a very clever race. He's such a talented track rider. He took the bronze medal in 2012.
Médaille d'argent,
He takes the bronze medal in
Winner of the silver
2016.
medal representing Austria, Andreas Graf.
Andreas Graf, that enterprising attack that took him a long time to get back up there and score his points. He finishes in silver
champion
medal
du monde
position.
et vainqueur de la médaille d'or lors de la course au point 40 km hommes des championnats du monde piste UCI, représentant la Grande-Bretagne.
The UCI Track Cycling World Championship Men's Points Race gold medalist and winner of the UCI World Champions jersey, representing Great Britain, Jonathan Dibben.
Jonathan Dibben wins in front of his home crowd and puts the entire velodrome on their feet. The rainbow bands that signify a world champion. He'll get it on in the end. An individual world title for the British rider. And still got the strength in the legs to jump on the podium. A great way for the British crowd to end the night here in London.
The flowers will be presented by the Vice Chair of the British Cycling Board of Directors, Charlie Jackson.
Mesdames et messieurs, l'hymne
And now
national
the
de
national
la
anthem
Grande-Bretagne.
of Great
Ladies and
Britain.
gentlemen, the national anthem of Great Britain.
Des applaudissements pour le médaillé.
Ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge all our medalists.
Britain ends the night with a world champion. It's been an absolutely thrilling evening of racing. The women's team pursuit was absolutely stunning. The men's individual pursuit with Ghana, what a great race that was. And the crowd are just going to keep partying, I think, for the rest of the night. There's the gold medal.
So with that gold medal, Great Britain goes to the top of the medals table in total after 3 days of these track cycling world championships tonight. Many British riders before him. John Timmon gets himself.
That was a big win for Great Britain, a massive morale booster at the end of day 3 of these World Championships. He's going to sign his name alongside all those champions that we've seen over the last 3 days. Jonathan Dibben then from Southampton. He's been one of the kids who came up riding locally in one of the Southampton clubs. And he's been one of the foundations of the Great Britain team for so long, just trying to finally clinch that all-important big medal. This is what it's done then to the medal table. Great Britain go to the top of the medal standings after 12 medals have been won. 6 medals in total. Germany with 5, Australia with 3. And there's the rest of the top places down to New Zealand with 1 gold. The United States, that emotional medal for the team pursuit squad, puts them there, equal on 5th. Canada also with their medals so far. Their team pursuit squad adding another medal today to get themselves into 10th place. And these are the rest of the nations who've scored some medals. Poland have already got a silver and some bronzes there for Belgium, Denmark, France and Switzerland. There is Jonathan Dibben. I think he'll have a very busy night of interviews and photographs. Let's take a look then at the schedule for tomorrow. We're going to start off with the men's sprint semi-finals, and we go through to see the women's points race final. We'll also see the men's Omnium points race during the night to end that men's Omnium. We'll see the men's sprints finals. They'll go right through to their conclusion. So we're going to crown another number of world champions tomorrow night. We'll also have the start of the women's Omnium during tomorrow. We see the women's elimination. Well, what a night it has been. We've seen more world titles presented, but in terms of the home fans here in this velodrome, they've enjoyed seeing this man, Jonathan Dibben. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.